rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Well, thank you for allowing me to take the day off yesterday. That really would have, it would have been tough. Let's just put it that way for me to get in position and get everything up and running and all that stuff. If I hadn't taken the night off, so that would have been a bit of a problem. Anyway, all right. Well, I don't know if anybody heard, but apparently there was an illegal gambling ring that has been uncovered by the FBI. You know, it's amazing how much crime the FBI can actually investigate and uncover when they're allowed to do so by the Department of Justice and not go after or chase down churches and conservative groups that are doing nothing illegal. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? When our Department of Justice and the arms of the law actually enforce the law. I mean, it's amazing what happens. Amazing. Anyway, all right, folks, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight on tap for the Pledge of Allegiance is the wonderful, the amazing, the fantastic, and I haven't seen her in the chat, but Coco, Cam, and Sean are up for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sean is a normally non-verbal autistic young man, but he enjoys and loves the Pledge of Allegiance so much that he actually will participate when the pledge is being recited. And so what you're going to hear here is Sean doing his thing throughout the entire spiel. But we love Sean, we love Cam, and we certainly love our Coco, the insert name here. So if you are of mind, please stand. Remove your hats if you're wearing one, like me. And place your hand over your heart and follow along with Coco, Cam, and the fantastic Sean as they recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, I thank you, Coco, Cam, and Sean, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, attach it to an email address, send it off to me, send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will, of course, get you into the rotation. I am looking for numbers 21 and 22. I've got 20. I'd like 21. And then, of course, once I get 21, then I got to have 22 because I'm I like even numbers. So there you go. Yeah, we need to get number 21 and 22 in here, So record yourself doing it and send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And by the way, if you do it on your phone, apparently you can share it. If you share it to me, that'll do the exact same thing. It'll probably open an email and you can send it off to me, send it to fans, or share it to fans. FANS at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is the fantastic and wonderful company that has these fantastic and wonderful shirts like the one I'm wearing. This one here is the American flag themed one. It's by themed, I'm saying, obviously the stars and bars is what I'm saying here. But yeah, they have fantastic shirts. This one here, this is one of their men's cotton polos. I have a lot of those because I like the men's cotton polos. But what you can do is you can head on over to theflagshirt.com. Yes, that's right. Go to theflagshirt.com. And what you can do is take a look through all of their wonderful collections. They have patriotic styles on sale for fall. Well, I mean, they're not like on a sales price, but they're showing you their patriotic sales for fall. You know, this is their fall collection. You can get things like half zips in the fantastic red, white, and blue. You can get hoodies in the red color with the USA printed on the front with the flag and everything else. And hey, if you order $75 or more of their product, they will provide you with free shipping. I mean, that's just a standard thing. If you order $75 or more of their product, they will provide you with free shipping, and it is fantastic. Oh, but I gotta highlight this little picture right down here. Oops, I can't. I covered it up. Hold on. Here, this little picture right here. Take a look at that. If you are a married couple, I'm telling you, this is like his and hers shirts right there. That is fantastic in the stars and bars. Wonderful little thing. But anyway, I digress. Where was I? Oh, yeah, $75 or more of their product, they'll do free shipping. But I know not everybody can do $75 or more of their product. You know, maybe you only want one shirt or one accessory because they have men's, women's, kids, made in the USA. They've got all these wonderful red, white, and blue and patriotic styles, even in their accessories. You can go and check all of that out at theflagshirt.com. But as I was saying, if all you want is one shirt, that's it, just one shirt, and you're not looking to do $75 or more, well, I'm going to help you out. That's right. American Perspective is going to help you out by doing this. All you need to do is go to Flag Shirt. Just go flagshirt.americanperspective.online. Oh, I'm being corrected. 3 Chevy is saying Stars and Stripes is different from Stars and Bars. Well, I guess that's true. In the South, it was Stars and Bars. Okay, I'll go with that. So Stars and Stripes in the wonderful Stars and Stripes format. But anyway, as I was saying, go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online. That's flagshirt.americanperspective.online. And you will be presented with a coupon code. You take that coupon code, you copy and paste it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you will get $5 off your order from me, American Perspective. That's right. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, get presented with that coupon code, copy and paste it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you will get $5 off your order. Go to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All right. Well, now that I've got that stuff out of the way, well, some sad news for the Democrats. And by Democrats, I mean the Democrat supporters. Not saying that everyone who is on the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program is a Democrat supporter, because I know they're not. But, the Democrats sit there and they talk about how the Republicans, they're hurting the American people by keeping the government shut down. When they quit talking and yammering, you can tell them that, no, it's not because of that. It's because your dumbass senators of the Democrat Party are trying to keep the government shut down because they want all kinds of things that were a part of the One Big Beautiful Bill repealed. That's the real deal. I mean, Americans, for the most part, wanted the One Big Beautiful Bill. They wanted all of those cuts and the wonderful laws that were added to that to try and cut out things like fraud, waste, and abuse. That's what the Americans wanted. I mean, we're sitting at $37 trillion today. I think it's, in fact, it might have even flipped over to 38 trillion already. But, we're sitting there and we've got a ton of government debt, the vast majority of which comes from the special programs that all these damn Democrats have put in. I claim they're unconstitutional because they don't show up in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. I know they're important. I understand that. I know there are Americans out there who need and rely on these programs that get it. But that's a state's value. That is, when you look at the Constitution, that is literally a state's issue, not the federal government issue. And that being is how I'm a strict constitutionalist. I'm sorry, that's what I'm going to go with. I am going to go with that. Well, all of that being said, apparently some warnings came out from multiple states. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Texas, Illinois, and California, they all issued warnings saying that SNAP recipients in their states, all of those, that they may not get their food stamps starting next week should the federal government continue to be shut down. Now, the thing about this is there was a Democrat, and she was the minority whip. She was on a program, and I can't remember. I think her last name is Clark, if I recall correctly. But anyway, there's a lot of, there was not that much hubbub about this, but she said the actual exact thing. She said what they are doing. She talked about it because what ended up happening is, as she says, folks, we understand that people are hurting, but that's our leverage, Chip. Oh, so this kind of like torture? I mean, in a way, let's be real about this here. So if I were to take somebody and torture them and then use that as my leverage on their family member, I mean, that's pretty much what's happening here. They're using the government assistance that a lot of people are relying upon, regardless of whether I think they're constitutional or not, really makes a difference. Makes no difference, I should say. They are in place right now. But the thing about it is that they're admitting it. They're like, hey, we know that there's going to be families that are going to be hurt. We know that families are getting hurt by this. We know the American people are getting hurt by this. And we don't really give a crap. Because that's the power that we have. That's what we have. That's the leverage that we have, is to make the Republicans feel like they're being hurt. Well, I hate to tell you this. You can sit there and blame the Republicans all you want to, but 55, and that includes 2 or 3 Democrats and an independent, but 55 senators voted to open up the government. You only need 5 more. That's it. To get this thing over with and to open things back up. Yeah, I'm just telling you right now. Now, for those of you who are in New York, 3 million, according to, what's her name? Kathleen Hochul's office. She says nearly 3 million New Yorkers who rely on SNAP could lose access to their benefits starting November 1st. That's next week. That's the end of next week, folks. And she's saying this. And by the way, I mean, this is part of the reason why, Zohran Mamdani is, pushing. By the way, I got something about him here toward the end of the program. But anyway, yeah. This is not good. This is not good. Regardless, it's just that this is not good. Now, according to this piece, which is in the New York Post, okay, more than 5 million people in California and nearly 2 million residents of Illinois could be cut off from food stamps beginning November 1st, according to the officials in those states. Our food pantries are going to be overwhelmed with SNAP participants who rely on that critical lifeline for support and basic food assistance, said Manyi Lee of the Greater Chicago Food Depository. He said that to CBS News. So, yeah. Now keep in mind, again, I'm just pointing this out. All right. I'm 100% pointing this out, folks, that, SNAP, like dare anyone to tell me where the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program would actually fall under Article 1, Section 8. Yeah, I really, if you haven't done so yet, seriously, just read the Federalist Papers 14, 41, and 45 to fully understand what the purpose of the federal government actually is. And that it's only enumerated, the enumerated things that are listed in the Constitution are what it's supposed to be doing. So anyway. The program, by the way, which is funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and administered primarily by state governments, serves around 42 million people nationwide, or roughly 12.3% of the population. In 2000, it was just 6.1% of the population. So just in the last 25 years, we've had a doubling of people on SNAP assistance. And as Ms. T, again, I have the smartest audience in the ethosphere. Ms. T of Texas points out, nothing is ever free. Someone somewhere put forth the means to make it happen. And if the end result is someone else gets free, then it was taken from those who made it happen. And that is exactly it. That is exactly it, folks. Look, people don't seem to understand. Free is not free. Somebody pays. Somebody pays for it. It's not just free. There is nothing in life that is free. Somebody pays for it. And, somebody, someone, somewhere, something, yeah. They end up paying for it. So, there you go. By the way, just as a piece of information, point of information here out of the New York Post. In fiscal year 2024, New Mexico had the highest share of its population receiving SNAP payments at 21.2%. Utah has the lowest in the nation at 4.8%. Now keep in mind, those are percentages. So obviously, the more populous a state is, there could be some other things that could come into play here because, again, figures lie and liars figure. But anyway, in New York State, it's 14.7% of the population that receives SNAP payments. So, there you go. We'll just have to see what's going on with this, and hopefully there'll be an end to this thing. Well, speaking of an end and speaking of dropping truth bombs, you know what? I think I'm going to start calling this sound effect that I have, I'm going to start calling it the Jennings truth bomb. Let's see if I can find it here on my list. Where is it? Oh, yes, here we go. So this is the Jennings truth bomb. I think I'm going to start calling this. Yeah, I think I'm going to start calling this the Jennings truth bomb. Whoa, because here we go. Well, here we go. Wow, that is extremely loud. I'm gonna have to play with that one a little later. But anyway, Scott Jennings. Yeah. again, I keep saying I'm surprised that CNN hasn't fired him yet because he seems to be doing such a wonderful job at this. But let's go ahead and take a listen to Scott Jennings dropping his truth bomb.
Here's what I think. The president said today he'd be happy to meet with the Democrats if they stop holding the government hostage. They could easily walk in there tonight, pass the CR, give us 7 weeks. The president brings everybody together. And my strong belief is that they would wind up negotiating on a number of issues, and they would come to an agreement. The president doesn't want to negotiate under duress. And the Hill today, a Democrat senator, anonymously said, none of us want to vote to open the government because, quote, we'd face the guillotine. That's their words from our base.
Yeah, look, I think you just made a very important.
So the reason that they're not opening the government, folks, here, let's just listen to that again real quick.
Here's what I think. The president said today he'd be happy to meet with the Democrats if they stop holding the government hostage. They could easily walk in there tonight, pass the CR, give us 7 weeks. The president brings everybody together. And my strong belief is that they would wind up negotiating on a number of issues, and they would come to an agreement. The president doesn't want to negotiate under duress. And the Hill today, a Democrat senator, anonymously said, none of us want to vote to open the government because, quote, we'd face the guillotine. That's their words from our base.
Yeah, look, I think you just made a very important.
So there it is. There's the answer. There's the truth. And they're afraid of saying it. That's right. They are afraid of saying it. They are afraid of their base. So, if you are a Democrat voter, within the sound of my voice, you really want your senators to pander to the radicalism that has taken over your base? Do you want to sit there and suffer from SNAP benefits and all these other things that are being held back from you because of this government shutdown? Because of the Democrat base? The radical, lunatic, leftist base? Is that really what you want? Because that's what these Democrats are telling you. The Democrats, I'm just saying this right now, the Democrats are the party of radicalism. The Democrats are the party of lunacy. I kind of mixed up lunatics and lunacy. I was trying to tie it together. Anyway, they are the party of the moron base. The ones that want to fundamentally change America into something that America is not. That's right. That's what they are looking to do. So there it is. Yeah, maybe I will continue with that. I'll call that the Scott Jennings Truth Bomb. But I'll turn it down next time so it's not quite so loud. Anyway, all right. Well, speaking of lunacy and lunatics in the left, yeah, I got something here for you. But first, let's talk about this fantastic thing, this elixir. Usually dark, brown, black, whatever kind. Unless, of course, you put cream in it. Then it becomes nice and coffee and cream colored. I'm not even sure what the color, that kind of color is. I mean, I would call it a palomino color because that's the color of the horse, a nice blondish color depending upon how much cream you put in the black elixir that's in the morning. Well, some people drink it at night too because, they could be like Mrs. Whiskey and be completely opposite, completely opposite of completely opposite of everybody else. And, coffee puts you to sleep. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Pretty Chevy. Yeah, here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about coffee, because if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 coffee starter kit has dropped. There's a limited number of units available. You've got to get yours soon because they may very well run out. So what are you getting in each kit? Well, let me tell you. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. That's one of the ones that 3 Chevy would love. Okay. Go bold dark roast that hits hard. The smooth medium roast you get to try. And they also give you a sampling of the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. Now, all of these coffees are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you'll also be getting Gold Spoon Clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll also be picking up, and that's my personal favorite, by the way, you'll also be picking up a frother that is strong enough to stir up not only your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's personal opinions. And trust me, folks, if you have a mother-in-law like I have had, she's got a lot of them. And anyway, as I was saying, you'll also receive a black 1775 tumbler. All of this is $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. See, now the reason why they give you all 3 of their coffees is so you can choose which one you want, or maybe you want 2, or maybe you want all 3. So your next order, you'll get whatever you want and whatever tastes good for you. Anyway, it's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to, and these are the numbers, 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO. Now, for those of you that don't know, the / is your question mark key on your keyboard, all right? So go to 1775coffee.com /studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit before they disappear on you like that morning cup of coffee does on Monday morning and you want to drag another one out because you're dragging your feet. Anyway, grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com /studio, that's STUDIO, and grab your starter kit today. My Whiskey Warrior Rumblers have dropped off the tracks. That's right, they're going nuts over there as they're talking about the mushrooms. I have not partaken. Anyway. All right. Well, you really want to know what a leftist lunatic is like and what the Democrat Party has been in terms of the infestation of leftist lunatics that are in the Democrat Party that are actually still representing you in government. That's right. They are representing you in government. And this is part of the reason why they don't want to anger their base, of course. But when you see a Democrat who is essentially saying something that is literally disgusting. I mean, all you have to do is just look at all of the disgusting crap that they put out about Charlie Kirk. When Charlie Kirk was murdered in front of thousands. And his video went viral. The video of his death went viral. No, that's not the special effects truck from Hollywood. No, that was real. That was the life of a almost 32-year-old innocent bystander being taken from him. And when you have Democrats like this idiot, Jay Jones, okay, making comments about the then Republican Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and especially sitting there talking about the fact that he wanted his children. That's right. Not just the opponent, but the opponent's children to be dead. Okay? This just demonstrates to you, and the fact that they, oh my gosh, now, just keep in mind, they've like circled the wagons around this guy. I mean, they're not even bothering to condemn this. They're like circling the wagons around this guy, and they're defending him, which is exactly what J. Big, yeah, that's right, J. Big Pritzker. God, I can't even pronounce his name right. J.B. Pritzker did. I mean, let's face it, JB can't like pass a donut shop or a buffet or anything else. In fact, there was even one point where he made a comment one time, and I just sort of laughed at this, but he made a comment one time. He goes, "I'm not bending the knee to anybody." And I'm sitting here in the back of my mind thinking, yeah, you're not bending the knee at all, because if you do, you'll never get back up. You're like a roly-poly. You'll just start rolling around. Anyway, this guy, yeah, governor eats a lot of donuts. That's right. This guy, anyway, let's just listen to the fact. Let's just listen to himself try and dig his way out of this. He made an appearance on Fox News and was asked about it. So, yeah.
Nominee Jay Jones drop out of the race over those texts that have been the focus of this race.
Yeah, I think that the text that I think everybody points to, he's apologized about that. People make mistakes. They do.
So he shouldn't drop out.
It's one thing if someone's doing it repeatedly, right? If you're making comments repeatedly that are, like that, no doubt that was an offensive thing to write.
You've donated 20.
Wait. Whoa, hold the phone here. He didn't do it repeatedly? Hello? Yes, he did. As I recall, he made the threat toward the Speaker of the House, and then doubled down on it and added the kids. It wasn't like he was directly addressing the children. No, he was addressing the Speaker of the House at first, and then he went and added the kids as a part of it. Oh my gosh, Pritzker, you know what? Just freaking get your donut eating ass out of government. Just go. You need to go the hell away, because you have no idea what you're talking about here. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue.
$1,000 to Jay Jones' campaign.
Yeah, that was before anybody saw the text, but it doesn't matter. The point is, if he wasn't apologizing.
Wait, doesn't matter? So in other words, what you're saying then is because it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, it was done before the text. Okay. Yes, it does matter. You're missing the point. Pritzker could have easily just said right there, look, I don't agree with what he said. I donated to him ahead of time. He's a fellow Democrat, but realistically, I probably wouldn't have donated so much because of the fact that, he's a little out there for my taste. No, he didn't even say any of that. Well, let's continue.
Apologizing about it. If he didn't feel bad, and if he hadn't stood up and said, this is not how I really feel. I think everybody says, things along the way, particularly in politics, when you're getting attacked, that you probably shouldn't have said.
Wait. He...
According to my colleague, Jake
I've
Kaplan,
been
who wrote a book
attacked.
with
Hold
Alex
on, I'm
Thompson.
sorry. Hang on, I lost
looking back on that.
Here we go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I've been attacked in the past. I've been attacked by a lot of different people. I've been attacked on social media, and I don't think that at any point in time I threatened to kill a person, or that I even wished that I wanted them dead. And I'm absolutely certain that I never said that I wanted their children dead. Folks, this is the left. This is the left. They have no remorse over anything that they do. In fact, 90%, 99.99999% of the time, they have no sense of remorse for anything because they don't care. It was pointed toward a conservative and a conservative's children, which to them is the worst form of human. In fact, I take that back. They look at it as though they're subhuman. I mean, that's what they are. Is they look at it as though we, as conservatives, are subhuman. As Dan Bongino is quoted on many times, and I've quoted him on many times, leftist, lunatic, Democrat morons, I'm throwing that in there on my part, think that conservatives are bad people with ideas, whereas conservatives think that the left are people with bad ideas. You see the difference there? That's the difference. See, we view the left as people first and their ideas, their ideologies, their thought processes, which are none, and so on and so forth, as bad, wrong, incorrect. But they don't. They look at us and they go, oh, you guys, yeah, you're horrible people, which is part of the reason why they immediately descend into the morass of things like calling us racist and homophobic and Islamophobic and phonophobic and homophobic and whatever other kind of homophobic and phobic, whatever. Yeah, I wanted to see my closed captioning. Oh, this side, closed captioning went nuts. Couldn't even catch up. And you're right, 3 Chevy states this very true. The left has no moral compass. This is so true. This is so true. Well, Nancy Pelosi, yes, vodka brain herself. In fact, I don't even know if she has any brain cells left after all of the vodka that she's drunk. Drunk. Anyway, she came out and said that she wants the local police to arrest ICE agents. For what? I just want to understand. What? So apparently, she put out a joint statement with Representative Mullen suggesting that local law enforcement authorities could actually arrest federal agents who violate California laws while enforcing federal immigration policies. I hate to tell you this there, little Miss Nancy, but there is this thing known as the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution, which essentially says that the federal government, in particular, when doing its job, like enforcing immigration law, supersedes that of state law. Which is part of the reason why these places that are sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, that's why they will eventually lose in court, or they should absolutely eventually lose in court. It's known as the Supremacy Clause, Nancy. You should read it. I mean, you were, and still are, as far as I'm aware, a representative of the United States, well, a representative of California in the United States government. Anyway, yeah. Pelosi and Mullen wrote in the letter, says, quote, reports of a planned mass immigration raid in the Bay Area are an appalling abuse of law enforcement power. Still trying to figure out how. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Back to the letter. Broad sweeps that target families and terrorize law-abiding residents betray our nation's values and waste resources that should focus on real threats to public safety. You mean like Democrats? Anyway, they continue. It is important to note that California law protects communities and prevents federal agents from taking certain actions here that we have witnessed in other states. While the president may enjoy absolute immunity, courtesy of his rogue Supreme Court, those who operate under his orders do not. Well, guess what, Nancy? And Mullen. God, Both of them. I mean, I swear, Democrats, man, they must all drink from the same poisoned water because they're freaking dumb. First of all, the president does not have absolute immunity. He has immunity from his presidential actions, but that's not absolute immunity. Yeah. Anyway, they continue in this letter. Our state and local authorities may arrest federal agents if they break California law. No. No, you can't. And if they are convicted, the president cannot pardon them. Well, that part is true. That if they were convicted, they would not be able to be pardoned because the president cannot pardon for a state violation. But at the same time, folks, if the federal law enforcement agents are doing the enforcement of federal law and are not subsequently breaking law by enforcing law, because again, that's federal law, not state law, and they're doing this on the federal level. They're enforcing immigration policy, which is 100% in the hands of the federal government. That has been continually proven over and over and over again in the court system, that immigration law is 100% the purview of the federal government. There is not a single thing that the states can do with it. Not one. I don't know where these people are coming up with this. And by the way, legal experts, including the Berkeley School of Law, Dean Erwin Chemerinsky, for those of you that don't know, Berkeley is in California. Idiots. They note the lack of precedence for such action. In fact, Chemerinsky recently commented that as long as the ICE agents are acting legally, the state can't prosecute or hold them liable, even if it dislikes what they're doing. Hello. I like it when I'm backed up by people who are in the midst of it. See, I'm not wrong. Anyway, yeah. So now, the arrest of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents has previously been threatened by U.S. District Court Judge Jeffrey Cummings, which, yeah, by the way, that guy is fully stepping outside of his boundaries. Just saying. He has barred arresting illegal immigrants, read illegal aliens, inside or near the Cook County Courthouse in downtown Chicago, Illinois, unless they can produce a warrant, which is actually not really needed in that way. It really isn't. You know, I wish these people would actually learn the actual law. Like, learn it. Learn it. All right. Well, let's get on to tonight's headline news story. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Clearly honest with you. I frankly don't I don't watch the NBA. In fact, I don't even really watch sports. But something like this has got to get into the show because, yeah. Anyway, here we go. Let's let Kash Patel talk about it.
To announce a historic arrest across a wide sweep criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. Men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Cosa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. You'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure.
So there you go, folks. Apparently the Italian mafia is up to no good. Now this has spanned the course of years, he says. Years. Well, just really quick, there were a couple of names and serious names that were dropped in terms of arrests. Former NBA Finals MVP and Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, along with Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, were arrested yesterday as part of the sweeping investigation into illegal gambling activities linked to organized crime. Billups, who was a Hall of Famer and 2004 NBA champion with the Detroit Pistons, has been tied to poker-related gambling, while Rozier's arrest stems from a broader gambling concerns within the league. Now, I don't know about you, but I seem to recall Pete Rose was blocked from getting into the Hall of Fame because of his gambling. I could be wrong on that because, again, I'm not really a sports guy, and baseball isn't really my sport, but I remember that because that was a big deal. It was a big deal. Anyway, so there were a total of 31 individuals arrested in the probe, including former NBA guard Damon Jones. So you heard the news conference, which was set at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, providing the details, many of the details, which in the Billups case at least was tied into members of the La Cosa Nostra crime families, which are the 5 families in New York City: the Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese families. Wow. Big time scandal here. Big time scandal. Folks, you know, a lot of people make jokes about Las Vegas and, the mob, how the mob created Las Vegas. And they also make jokes about the mob disappearing and kind of being like, no, trust me. The mob is not gone. They've gone underground. They've become a lot smarter with the way they do things. And unfortunately, in this particular case, they ended up getting caught. So, Now, Chauncey Billups, just so you understand, Chauncey Billups is an NBA head coach. So this is why head coaches are really hard. I mean, this is really not a good look because Billups, as a head coach, is involved. And if he's involved in gambling, he's someone that actually controls rotations and how many minutes somebody plays. Folks, this is rigging. This is just like rigging an election or rigging anything. Rigging. If you have head coaches involved in these kinds of things, where they bet against their own team, as an example, they can, and most likely will, directly affect any outcome of any game. I mean, seriously, this is bad. This is really bad, especially for anybody that watches, NBA and so on and so forth. Now, he was arrested in Oregon and is scheduled to appear in court for an initial hearing later today. He was supposed to. I don't know if he has. He coached the Trailblazers in their season opener on Wednesday, which was a loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Details of his case have thus far remained under wraps. Oh, good call there, Bonnie. Bet it ends up going even into college. Oh, I'm sure it does. Oh, if you think the NBA is just like a separate league, the only one that has any of this happening, oh, trust me. Gambling in and of itself is a huge money-making and money laundering operation. There is absolutely no way. What you are seeing right now with this is just the tip of the iceberg. Is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm just telling you right now, this is incredible, okay? Now, the probes, by the way, led by the Eastern District of New York, also netted Jones, who, according to ABC News, provided inside information about games to co-defendants who used it to place sport bets. Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. So now the league itself is tarnished. Yeah. The developments in this scandal echo a scandal including former Toronto Raptors center Jonte Porter, who received a lifetime NBA ban in 2024 for manipulating prop bets in 2 games. Porter pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges and awaits sentencing in December. 4 other men have admitted guilt in that particular case. These latest arrests intensify scrutiny on gambling's encroachment into professional basketball. Again, if you only think that basketball is a part of it, I mean, just think about this. Think about when the Patriots won the Super Bowl and we had Deflategate. You remember that? Where they were, they had the balls deflated a little bit. Tom Brady's, the balls that he was using, you can't really call them balls. I mean, come on, they're freaking oblong. Anyway, the footballs that the Patriots were using in a very cold game, they were deflated a little bit. Yeah, that whole Deflategate thing. Yeah. And some of the cheating that has been caught in terms of filming playbooks and that kind of stuff from distances. Stuff, I mean, Bill Belichick as an example, he got caught in some sort of a scandal where he was, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I think it had something to do with playbooks and his scandal and so on and so forth. Yeah. You don't think that stuff doesn't go on? I mean, seriously. If you just think that the NBA and the NFL and, I mean, even when you look at some of the games, even in baseball, when you check out some of the games, I mean, there's some days where you're just scratching your head going, how in the hell can a team that makes the playoffs screw up so bad in some cases? And you just got to wonder if there's some sort of an outside force that might be causing all of the problems. Just saying. So, yeah, this is not a good thing. I mean, the NBA, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Seriously. It is just the tip of the iceberg. When we're talking about cheating, because that's, I mean, the NBA, if they're fixing games to satisfy gambling requirements, that would be cheating. But when you're talking about cheating, you can't leave off China. I know, big old leap. Although China actually is deep involved in the NBA, so this is kind of interesting. I know I'm stretching for a segue, but whatever. It looks like the reason why Zohran Mamdani is so popular might have something to do with China's TikTok algorithms. So there's a research group that says that they found that China's TikTok has systemically boosted content using, for users in favor of socialist New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani against former New York City Mayor Andrew Cuomo in its content algorithm. The team who found this out asserts that this goes beyond just a simple bias into a new era known as algorithmic steering. So this research report was published to Medium by, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Anyway, he's the CTO of Spring AI, which is a new open source app framework for artificial intelligence engineering. He says, our new research suggests TikTok's algorithm is systemically boosts pro-Mamdani and anti-Cuomo content in the New York City's mayoral race. Why do you think you can't trust anything that's on the internet? Because nobody is honest about it. Oh my gosh. So anyway, taking a look at this this post that he put up, here is an image of their findings. And there it is right there. So pro-Cuomo was at a negative 22%, against Mamdani at a negative 22%, pro-Mamdani went to plus 3%, and against Cuomo was at plus 54%, meaning that analyzing the amount of information that was out there, whether it was pro-Cuomo, against Cuomo, pro-Mamdani, or against Mamdani, 54% of the time, the against Cuomo was actually boosted by TikTok. Yeah. And you don't think that our elections can't be fixed? Because I guarantee you, a crap ton of young folks use TikTok as a primary source for all kinds of information. So this a follow-up post came out, and it said, based on deep reverse engineering of TikTok's recommendation system and representative data, real and synthetic users, we built an AI model that measures when videos get more exposure than they should. We call these excessive publicity videos. The software engineer went on to say that across all videos, roughly 17% showed this kind of non-organic boost, adding that his team's model correctly flagged 76.4% after testing known paid ads, confirming that it works. In short, the programmer said, it spots hidden promotion. Yeah, there you go. So, if you don't think we're being manipulated, yeah, we are. Totally being manipulated, folks. Completely. Well, real quick in the final couple of minutes, inflation numbers came out, and they weren't as high as what they were expecting. So now, keep in mind, you have to understand phraseology. So the left is going to say, oh, inflation increased. The right is going to say, oh, inflation cools more than expected. When in reality, yes, it did increase a little bit. The consumer price index, for an example, increased at a 0.3% last month. But it was expected to have an increase of 0.4%. So the economists are a little, well, let's just say they're a little negative with regards to this, okay? Now, that is down from 0.4% in August. And compared with a year ago, consumer prices are only up 3%, slightly below the 3.1% forecast, which again, our target number for inflation is 2%. That's our target year over year, 2%. So the fact that we're even at 3% when, just a little over 4.5 years ago, we were at something like 9%. Yeah, this is better. Not the best, but better. Now, core prices, which is a metric that excludes food and energy prices, that only rose 0.2%. That was below the estimate of 0.3%. And over the past 12 months, core prices are only up 3%. So we're getting closer to our target, but we're still a little hotter than what we would like. So, and food inflation, just as a last number, The index for grocery prices climbed 0.3% over the month, down from the 0.6% increase in August. Compared with a year ago, grocery prices are up 2.7%. The prices for dining out rose just 0.1%, which is a slowdown from the 0.3% increase in August. Compared to a year ago, restaurant prices are only up 3.7%. But again, they're still going up. They can't go actually down until we go into negative inflation or deflation territory, just to be clear. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in and, searching around looking for things that you want, go ahead and search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the case of 3 Chevy, thumb sideways, across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, being Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.